So I see it's 3 o'clock. I'm thinking we're going to begin. Hello, everybody. My name is Linda Altenberger. I'm a registered dietitian with Cornell Cooperative Extension, SNAP Ed program, and I'm so excited to be here with you this afternoon, and I thank you for joining me. I wanted to introduce quickly our colleague, Marta Blanco, who is going to be my IT person and my right-hand man. And she'll be manning the chat box today. So if at any time you do have any questions, feel free to enter those into the chat or raise your hand. And again, thank you for joining me on this part 2 of our series of 3. Our next one will take place on Monday at 3 p.m. And it's addressing immunity, and today I'm going to focus on turmeric. So with that said, we're going to our presentation today is going to address the objectives of the benefits of turmeric as well as its common uses, and I hope to be able to share with you a couple of recipes and show you how simple it is to incorporate turmeric into your lifestyle. So I am going to start by asking, if I didn't mention already, it's kind of an interactive session, so I do hope that you can participate. I'm going to ask you right now, who has already worked turmeric into their diet and meals, who's familiar with it, and if so, would you share with me your favorite recipe in the chat box, if you could do that now.
And please feel free also to unmute yourself if you'd rather personally ask the question instead of using the chat box.
Marta, I'm having trouble hearing you.
Can you hear me better now? I'll use the chat. Okay, we have, can you hear me now?
I do.
Okay, so we have, somebody says, I add it in my tea sometimes, and I have not used it and don't know why people say it's so good.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you for sharing. Thanks, guys. So with that, why is it that we want a healthy immune system? What is it that everyone's talking about that we want to, keep our immune system healthy? If you would share just your comments in the chat box briefly, and then we'll move on. Anyone?
We have someone that added that they use it in their soups.
Oh, cool. Yes. Great. So if you keep in mind, our immune system is our body's first defense to fight off illness and infection. So without that, we'd be sick all the time. That would be no fun at all. So by keeping a healthy immune system, it keeps us to be able to go about our daily activities, whether it's, well, of course, not going to work, but work at home, taking care of our kids, and all of our daily activities. And lastly, just that reminder, sorry guys, we don't get any younger. We seem to always just kind of age in that other direction. And so as we do age, we are more susceptible to, getting diseases and infections. So for that reason, we really want to pay better attention to what we're doing to take care of ourselves.
Linda, somebody added, still thinking about the recipes question, that they used it for spiced cauliflower and potatoes. That sounds delicious.
Talk about one of those ingredients a little bit later on in the presentation. So again, what might be some of the signs and symptoms of a weak immune system? Anyone want to throw out a guess or two on that?
Someone sharing privately that they feel tired.
Yes.
Also fatigue.
Yes. Perfect. You read my mind. So exhaustion, I know I often describe it as the feeling of like that I got hit by a Mack truck, where you can't even get out of bed, don't even want to make a bed, think about making dinner or taking care of anyone or anything. So that's never a good feeling.
They're sharing frequent infections, the body hurts or aches, getting colds all the time, and you get sick all the time.
Exactly, and sometimes that fever that we want to watch out for too. So with that said, what things actually do impact our ability to stay healthy and keep a strong immune system? There are a handful of things out there. Anyone care to share?
Exercise?
Yeah, exercise, definitely one of those things can keep a healthy immune system.
Lack of sleep.
Sleep.
Of sleep, yes.
Food, diet.
Food and diet, sure. So you guys are right on task there. So here, I compiled the entire list. So if we smoke, we want to try to work on quitting. Emphasizing that half a plate or more filled with vegetables and fruits is always a key, impact to keeping a healthy immune system. That exercising regularly, and I have to say, it's definitely more of a challenge now that we're tending to be more homebound. However, I know myself, I even dug out a stepper from the basement and a little mini trampoline and started doing some things online. So there are many ways for us to try and stay more physically active. Keeping a healthy weight, now that we're homebound too, we want to really watch the snacks and how accessible they are. And, of course, the trick is don't even bring them in the house in the first place. If you drink, do so in moderation. Getting adequate sleep, and maybe now that means trying to do some more mindfulness and meditation and incorporating other forms of relaxation into your lifestyle. And most importantly, taking those critical steps to avoid infection. So washing your hands, and washing them again, so important, and following standard food safety practices. So you could always visit the CDC's website for the most accurate and reliable information. And those are really some of the key ways. So without further ado, let's move on to turmeric. Turmeric is a common spice. It's grown throughout Asia, Central America, and India. It's the main ingredient in curry powder, and it is from the ginger family. So with that, it is the root of the plant, and it is commonly used in the Chinese and Indian medicine, so they call that Ayurvedic. And with that, it has 3 different phytochemicals that are active. And the most common is from a group called the curcuminoids. And it is most notably the one that's most researched. So that's where we get the word curcumin from. And lastly, it's known for...
I'm sorry, Linda, we're just hearing a little bit of back noise. If everybody can remember to mute themselves unless they want to share something.
I don't think I have anything going on here, but I hope it's not me.
No, it's not you. Thank you.
Okay, so again, the curcumin acts as a powerful antioxidant. It's what's shown to reduce inflammation, and likewise, the thought is to reduce chronic diseases. So it is the component that causes your hands to turn yellow when you're using it. So I caution you with that. It will turn your utensils, like if you had a white mixing spoon or whatever, it will turn it yellow as well. So interestingly enough, the color they use to color foods, to wind up coloring clothing and cosmetics. So it's pretty popular that way as well. Feel free if you have any questions. So with that, there are a handful of variations with respect to the turmeric. There is the raw root. There's the powder. It's also in tea form already, or you can make your own. It's in supplement form, typically as a capsule, and also as an essential oil. So interestingly enough, some stats, only about 3% of the weight of turmeric powder is the curcumin. And it's actually the turmeric extract that is the most concentrated. And so its content is as high as 95% in the turmeric extract. And a little trivia here, 1 teaspoon of fresh ground turmeric has around 200 milligrams of the curcumin. So a little nutrition for you as well. 1 tablespoon of the turmeric has a nice dose of iron and manganese, so really good sources with iron and manganese. It also has 2 grams of fiber, which is kind of neat, and a splattering vitamin C and potassium. It's only 29 calories. So common use. So current research is definitely supporting the inflammation aspect. So for diseases like arthritis, rheumatoid, and osteo. And it also shows promise for some cancer research that is currently ongoing, as well as for IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. So it's also helpful, again, when we think of inflammation, often when an area is inflamed, it's going to cause pain. So it's helpful with respect to that. So with the arthritis, also digestive issues. So there is some promising research on the horizon as well that its anti-inflammatory, antioxidant effects can be useful for surrounding obesity and also a variety of diabetic complications. So that would be really cool as well. I have to say, I added on the breathing problems. Whoops. I added on the breathing problems as well because I did see a little bit of information surrounding that, but I have to say I'm not as convinced with the breathing problem aspect. So forgive me that I don't have reference on that at the moment. So, okay. So it is really important that I talk about the aspect of supplementation. Keep in mind that supplements, unlike when we're talking about an over-the-counter medication or prescriptions, in that case, they're supposed to submit the research that shows that their product, their drug, or what have you, is safe and effective to the FDA prior to it going to market. However, with supplementation, there is no process in place. In other words, the FDA has basically said they could no way monitor all of the supplements that are out there, dietary supplements, and whether or not they would be harmful. So much for protecting the consumer. So with that said, we really have to always be wary and not just hop into taking something because you hear it's supposed to be good for this or good for that. So that's, I have to say that. As with any dietary supplement, I always encourage you or always tell you to reach out to your healthcare provider, any of your practitioners, and have that conversation, especially when it's something that's more of a preventative therapy and there can be potential side effects. So I make that disclaimer. Also, too, it's noted that the body doesn't always absorb the curcumin so easily, and so something that would have like an oil base to them does help with the absorption aspect. And for those that may be interested, there is a great article on the Arthritis Foundation website. And if you go there, the article is called How to Choose Quality Supplements. And it would be very interesting if you're looking to do that. You can really gain some knowledge that would be helpful as you move forward to possibly select any supplement. So side effects, I do want to bring attention to this category. So research does show if you either prolonged use of the turmeric or if you have other situations going on that we're going to talk about right now, it can cause like gastrointestinal problems. So you could have one person that tolerates it really well and the next guy has other issues. So you could have like diarrhea or nausea take place. So you do want to watch with that. Also, too, what happens is the stomach winds up secreting additional gastric acid. So that's what may cause the issue, and all of us are different, so you never know. Additionally, it does act like a blood thinner. So if you were on Coumadin or warfarin, or for that matter, if you were pregnant or you were expecting to have surgery soon, or lastly, if you have gallbladder disease, those would be cases where you would not want to be taking this in any great quantity. And lastly, you'll notice that some supplements may actually add black pepper. Actually, it's black pepper extract, and so it's very concentrated. And for persons that are taking certain medications, in particular Dilantin and Tegretol, will really make the effectiveness of that medication much more potent, and so it could cause significant problem. So you never know, again, about food-drug interactions and medications. So that's why especially you do want to check with your doctor. So again, keep in mind, I realized it in advance, keep in mind that just because something says natural doesn't mean that you won't run into any side effects or any issues. Remember that arsenic is also natural, but it doesn't mean we want to be consuming it in any great quantity. So our ideas or suggestions for everyday consumption, I've blended it in smoothies, and you really can't even tell that it's there depending on what else you put in your smoothie. It's great in egg dishes, the frittatas, also with rice and lentils or pastas. I've grated it into salads and even incorporated into salad dressings. It's great with roasted vegetables and even soups and stews or chilies. And as I said, when I've put it into those kinds of things, the person that I'm cooking for, they can't even tell that it's in there some of the time. my family's actually thought it's like pieces of carrot, so little did they know, and don't tell them either. So anyone have any questions or thoughts, comments? No? Okay. So I am going to share a recipe or two with you now, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. So this one's just a simple turmeric tea. And any of these things, if you want afterwards, if you put your email in the chat box, I can always send you additional information. Just let me know. So this is a simple turmeric tea. You would start out by putting the 2 cups of water in a saucepan, and you would simmer that. You would add your turmeric root, your ginger root, your cardamom, cloves. I would hold off, add the slice of lemon till the end, otherwise it gets kind of ratty looking. And then you would add in the either tea leaves of chamomile, or the green tea is perfect, or the tea bag. You can kind of cheat that way as well. And you would wind up steeping that for about 10 to 15 minutes. You would strain it and then pour it into your favorite mug and enjoy. It's very relaxing. Does anyone, for a bit of trivia here, why is it that we usually say to steep your tea for 10 or 15 minutes?
Linda, well, they give a little thinking on that question. Somebody's asking, can I make the tea with powder instead of using the root?
And it's funny because I meant to actually mention, so yes, this recipe is actually geared towards making it with the fresh root if you have that. Absolutely, if you don't have the root on either of those, especially in these times, you know, the powder is fine too. Absolutely. Great question. So I don't know if anyone had any other comments, but it's, you know, by simmering it, that 10 or 15 minutes helps release the active compounds, making it more bioavailable. So that's why we do that. And apparently if you do it too long, you know, if you were steeping your tea for 20 minutes, it could kind of get bitter or whatever, you know, half hour or whatever. So this is another neat recipe. This is a turmeric milk, and I keep my fingers crossed that you get to see how to make it.
Yes, it's showing.
You don't have to have a frother. You can put it in a saucepan, and it's a cup of almond milk, half a teaspoon of ground turmeric, a pinch of black pepper, a sprinkle of ground cinnamon. And as I said, you could do it in a saucepan, which she shows you here as well. And voila, it looks yummy. If you'd like, you can add a smidgen of a teaspoon of honey, or just as it is. And let's see, this is the challenging part, sorry. There we go. So my next one is the veggie egg frittata, and I have to say this recipe is so fun to make. I just realized that I lost my presenter view.
No, you're good.
No, I'm good?
Yeah.
Well, I don't have my notes. So this one is so fun to make if you have kids or even, you know, adolescents or whatever, or grab the other half. It's just like kind of fun to be creative. I always enjoy winding up putting, pre-preparing my, you know, ingredients, so they're kind of all there. You'd scramble up the dozen eggs or so. I cut up and shredded the turmeric, fresh basil from my garden, and diced up some ginger. I have half a cup of a low-fat cheese. You can also use feta cheese, works really great as well. And after you mix up your eggs, I wind up adding the basil, the turmeric, the ginger, a dash of salt and pepper. I spray my muffin tin with the oil spray, or you can always do some other type of oil in there. I take a little ladle and you fill up all your cups about halfway, and then you kind of have the fun part of deciding what you want to, you know, concoct or mix. You can use other things from mushrooms and tomatoes. I just happen to have some spinach and broccoli that I cut up, as well as the orange and red pepper and some onion. So it's just kind of fun to make. What's neat about these, once you cook them, 350, I believe, for about 25 minutes, they keep really well in the refrigerator in a Tupperware type of container, and they freeze really well. you know, as well, so you can kind of keep them a little longer. They heat up well in the microwave, and they're just such a great source of antioxidants as well as a protein. So you can have them breakfast, lunch, or a snack on the go. And like I said, they're just kind of fun and colorful to make. And let's see, so I lost my regular, and voila, this is kind of what it looks like after the fact. So I am just going to, any questions on that recipe? No? Okay.
I do have.
Good. Oh, we have one question. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I don't have access to the video, so I'm tuning in audio only. So I don't have the benefit of the visual. But that being said, I just have a question as to whether, if I just wanted to get the turmeric for the anti-inflammatory and for the overall benefits that it proposes, can I just put turmeric powder or just have the tea root extract and just have like a glass or two a day of that, you know, just with the liquid, whether it's water or something more, maybe more palatable with it? Is that it? Would that have a good absorption effect, or not? Because you know, you go to Costco and they're all trying to sell you this and that, and you know, you kind of feel like, are they selling or are they informing? You know?
Yeah, exactly. I caution, like I said, I caution everyone with just running out to go get a supplement. Like anything else, I'd much rather, you know, see you use the real food first, you know, or have that conversation with your doctor as far as a supplement goes. But there's no reason why, you know, you can't incorporate the powder. You know, just look for expiration dates. And if ever you do, you know, I know again, in these COVID times, it's not something that we're running to the supermarket to necessarily go get. But if you have that opportunity, I know it's only been in the last like 2 years that I, you know, discovered it, and now I know where to buy it. And I have to say it lasts for quite a while in my refrigerator. So I might not use it every day, but depending on what I'm cooking, you know, one day it might be ginger, another day it might be turmeric. But yeah, the powder works great. And like anything else, you know, you don't want to have it 5 times a day, you know, in large quantities. So I think a happy balance is definitely having it like once, twice a day, or incorporate it into something, you know, a couple of times in the week or what have you. So, and then just like I said, double check in case you were on any medications or you have other types of things going on. That's definitely a conversation for your physician.
Gotcha.
Great question. Thank you.
Where do you say, where is the best place to get it? Can you say it?
So, yeah, I can.
Okay.
I wish I could say I grew it out back, but I don't. So I do find it in Best Market. It's probably one of the only places I've tended to find it more often. And I think I have found it at ShopRite in the past as well. But I think in times of COVID, when I asked like ShopRite, they just weren't getting it in anymore.
Right.
Yeah. So great question. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
We're gonna take anything else? Okay, so I'm going to take a quick peek at this recipe. It's a delicious creamy cauliflower turmeric soup. Just want to make you run right out and want to make a cup of soup.
Definitely cold enough.
So it starts with pumpkin seeds, the cumin, the olive oil. Mix that up. Then they're sauteing it in the pan for a little bit to get it crispy. Activate. A little more olive oil, your onion, your thyme, garlic, and of course our turmeric. Saute that up in a pan. Great antioxidant properties, anti-inflammatory benefits. Put it in your saucepan or soup pot, add a little flour, cauliflower, salt, chicken stock, low fat. Oh, it looks delicious. And then blend that up. Just be careful because it's super hot. I don't think you really have to add the sugar, but it is an ingredient. You could put a little sprinkling of it in, and delicious. So, okay. So again, just re-emphasizing, I can't say it enough, please double check with your practitioners before you consider, any other integrative healthcare options, but, those are options out there for you. So I encourage you, with that. I also wanted to share these key resources, the Arthritis Foundation, the NCCIH, the National Center for Complementary and Integrative Health. We also have our CCE Suffolk website, as well as our New York State SNAP Ed, where you can find some additional recipes and a whole bunch of other information from our blogs and newsletters. I think they're just great resources to consider. And thank you for Cooking Light and Nutrition Strip for our videos. And I'm going to open up for additional questions if anyone has any questions. Thank you for attending.
Give a few seconds to see if somebody has any additional questions. And again, if you need to get in touch with Linda, please share your email. And I also posted the 2 websites. If you would like more information, either on future nutrition conversations or topics, as well as recipes and other resources.
In the chat, you guys are quiet today. So don't forget.
Thank you for good information. Thank you. Love the recipes.
Don't forget, this Monday at 3 o'clock, we'll be talking similarly about ginger. And thank you, Marta, and thank you everyone for coming by, and hope to see you again soon.
Have a good afternoon, everybody. We'll see you next Monday at 3.
Stay safe.